All right, so we're just on the way back home and maybe do a recap on all the stuff we did today. So we got to Dallas and they were apparently doing some kind of gun control rally. I'd like to think that none of the people in that rally had a gun because it seemed a little dangerous, all those people in such an uproar about kids. There's, somebody please take the children. Whatever. It's just them pushing their political garbage every time something goes awry. You know, like my opinion matters. My opinion matters. My opinion matters. Yeah. Whatever. All right, so let's take a moment to talk about maybe what I'm wearing. So let's take a look. Get to see. It's really hard to tell. So here, what I'll do is I'll just hold them up. So here I got my keys. There's the bell. So on one side, so I got little cat tags here. Okay. Oh, it's really damaged. But here we got Glitch Bitch and Fox Butt. Back in the day, I used to be a furry. I kind of left the furry realm because of it was just too steeped in fantasy. You know, I'd be a furry when I'm hanging out with all the others, but then when we got home, they would still be furry, and I'd just get back into adult mode, and so kind of left the furry realm because I like being in reality, you know, and furryism is very steeped in fantasy, and it can be a little difficult to deal with them sometimes because they're so weird. And you know, a lot of groups like that, they really feel like they're prosecuted, and it's kind of half and half. Half of you feel prosecuted or persecuted, and the other half you really are kind of being persecuted, but more or less in the sense that people just don't understand, so they don't like you. That's okay. I'm not so much anymore. Haven't been a furry in a long old time, maybe since I was 16, 18, 20, who knows. So the bell, okay, so I've been wearing the bell for a long time. Around the same time, I was learning about pirates and how they would have an eye patch, not because they didn't have a missing eye, or not because they had a missing eye, but because there was no candles allowed in the powder room at the center of the ship. And so if you're on the bright deck and your eye is being exposed to the light, they got this eye that's shrouded in darkness all the way through the day. What is that? All the way through the day. And so when they get on the ship, they'll switch the eye patch over to the other side and shroud this one in darkness, and so this one can still be adjusted to the dark. And so since then, if you can't see, I actually developed my pirate eye. So when it's real bright outside, I'll actually close this eye. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that very well. So when it's real bright outside, I close my left eye, and that's my pirate eye. And around the same time, I started wearing my bell. And even though it didn't start out that way, I really just kind of wore my bell because it used to be on my collar. And but I soon discovered that by wearing my bell, I was kind of able to sneak by, if that makes any sense. So my bell is actually my ninja tool. This is so that I don't sneak up on anyone in the middle of the night, because I'm of course dressed a little strange, all in black makeup, goggles, and all that. And some people get a little nervous when I walk up behind them. It's okay. It's just my paranoia projection. That's my projecting my paranoia on other people. Does this person in front of me think I'm following them? Maybe I should take a left so they don't think so. Anyway, and the bell. So if I'm walking by in an area where I'm known to be wearing a bell, if I wanted to sneak by, then all I have to do is hold my bell. And that way, maybe they do notice somebody walking by, but they won't think it's me. Because if it's me, if it's a bell, it's me. If it's no bell, it's not me. So that's the kind of the story behind my bell. It's mostly so a proximity warning of audible proximity warning of people in front of me, and a sort of tool for helping me keep from being too ninja when I need to be seen, and a tool to help me be ninja if I do want to not be seen. So that's a pretty cool thing, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about me just from that. I'm also wearing my light. My light is on my belt, so when it's dark outside, it's actually pointed towards the ground. Let me see if I can't hold this phone a little better. My hand's getting tired. All right. So what else did we do today? We saw a whole bunch of government buildings. We saw churches. Got to talk about that. Talked about how I interpret police as a religion. Oh, really? It's not just police. Politics is a religion. Even public school. You know, there's a religion behind that. What we teach children and whatnot. And there's always an ongoing debate on what we should teach our children in public school. I don't have any real issue with it as long as it's completely backed by fact and no mythical nonsense in terms of, because, we let religions teach their shit in school under the pretense that you're going to talk about all religions. And then they're like, oh, but we'll talk about all religions. And then they'll talk about just Christianity. And then if they do talk about the other religions, it's just to say to the children that those religions are wrong and that Christianity is correct. And I'm glad I'm not having kids, because I wouldn't want to have to deal with that mess, having to deal with a school teacher thinking that her Christianity is worth more than my child's future. Got bugs over here. And I don't have to worry about that nonsense. It's so ridiculous. Shout out to school teachers, though. I think they do a very important job. I just kind of wish they weren't flawed. Yeah, like everyone else. Okay, so the baton, I wear the baton as a secondary measure. Hopefully the mace will get it done first and make sure that I don't get hurt. But if someone's particularly interested in hurting me, namely, say, a religious person, then I don't have to beat them into submission or beat them to death. All I gotta do is kind of lightly tap them on the shins and or a shin, and hopefully that will get them to stop. And I mean lightly as in adrenaline pumping. Hopefully I won't bust their shin in half. But hopefully, of course, I never have to use it. But I am ready, and hopefully I'll have a cool head, leveled head when that sort of thing happens. That way I don't hurt anybody extremely bad. Let's just say they'll be lucky to be able to walk for the rest of their lives after dealing with me. I don't really have much tolerance for people who want to do me harm. And I do sometimes fantasize about making someone's life quite miserable if they try it. But I also do my best to try and keep a level mind, to keep a level head about not doing too much damage. But we'll see. We'll see. And, of course, for any of the police out there, I hope you understand I don't want to do anybody harm. And I'm carrying for my safety and maybe for people's safety around me as well, if it's in my power to save other people from harm, if I can. But hopefully the mace will be able to do enough for that. All right, so we're about where I left off last time I did this direction. And I don't know if there's really anything else I want to talk about. Maybe a little bit more about myself. Here you see a chain there. I've actually been wearing this chain for approximately, 2004 was when I started wearing it. I don't know how long ago that was, I guess 14 years. And it used to mean something. It doesn't anymore. It's not really worth mentioning the story behind it. Now it just kind of is one of my signature marks that if you see me, I'll be wearing the chain. I don't go anywhere without it, nor do I take it off. I used to take it off to wash it or to clean it or whatever you want to call it, but it soon turned into a fruitless effort because it's going to get dirty no matter what. And it seemed like every time I cleaned it, it would damage one of the links because you can't take it off without using pliers. It's on there for good. And if it's an emergency, I can take it off if I'm clever and quick enough. But if any emergency does happen and the paramedics are the ones that have to take it off, they're probably going to have to cut it off. Because you do need pliers to take it off. That's, I'm trying to look at the camera, but it's just easier to see my own face. I got a little black on my cheek. If you guys are wondering, the makeup is actually kind of to cover the scars that are on my face. And maybe you guys can't see them, but I can. And just a little shout out, a little message to anyone who is doing homemade cosmetics, homemade face creams and face cleansers and stuff like that. Do not use homemade products. The reason we do animal testing is because those products can be very toxic to your skin and very detrimental. They can turn into acids. So I have acid burns on my face, forehead, cheeks, nose, in between my eyebrows and on my chin and mustache, and my scalp. My scalp is so bad, so bad. It was my aunt was doing the cosmetics in her house. What I put on my face was kind of like an oil. I think it was coconut oil, coffee grounds, herbs and spices and stuff like that she cooked on a stove. And then when we put it on my face, it actually acted with the oils on my skin and turned into a corrosive agent. And that corrosive agent kept burning my skin days and maybe even weeks after it was after I tried to wash it off. And so what I learned was that there's a very good reason that we do animal testing, and there's also a very good reason why we don't like animal testing. And I didn't know that before, now I know why. It's because if you do a new product on a bunny, let's say, do the new shampoo formula on a bunny, then you can see whether or not the bunny suffers from that shampoo, and that suffering means permanent skin damage. And so in order to keep humans from suffering that permanent skin damage, they do it on the bunnies. And I was that bunny that got experimented on, and now I have horrible chemical burns on my face, my beautiful face. And So for anyone who's trying to do that, make sure that you're not going to burn anyone. For anyone who's going to try it, just don't try it. It is way safer to use already tested products. And so I think I'll leave it at that. I'm actually going to go inside this gas station and get some water. And maybe I'll catch you next time. I hope you're really liking my channel, guys. I know I do. And maybe I'll do a video on my religious paraphernalia when I get home or sometime soon. It turns out my GBs, my data or whatever, is really maxed out, like beyond maxed out. So maybe I'm gonna have to buy some more coverage or some more Gs for my account. But other than that, it doesn't seem like there's any real problems with doing the videos. And again, more police interaction coming soon, guys. I'm trying to get some better interaction, and maybe next time I'll do a story on the police officer that recently passed away in Richardson, and hopefully I can get some interaction with that. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there, and catch you next time, guys. Oh.